I'm gonna take you guys along with me for a weekend in DC. So we walked around a bunch of different places in DC. We were mainly sticking to the EU embassies, the different European Union embassies, but we also were able to stop by and look at the outside of other embassies and just take in the views of DC. So on the way there, I was a bit overwhelmed. This was the first time I was doing anything like this. I was stepping out of my comfort zone, but it was such a beautiful day and such a great experience that I had with my friend. We got to reflect that DC really is such a beautiful, vibrant city that is truly home to the world. Our first stop was at the Ukrainian embassy. It was so beautiful, the amount of artwork they had. Not just artwork, but design work. You can see design works from USSR design all the way to like modern day WhatsApp design posters. And that was our first visit, and it was such a beautiful experience. The friendliest people. The Ukrainian crew there was awesome. Great vibe, great personalities, so generous. And actually here, girl, the lines were long. So long, it like literally stretched blocks. I think the longest line that I saw stretched 4 blocks around. Anyway, so we couldn't hit up as many embassies as we wanted, or as we were walking from embassy to embassy, which they're separated along DC. They're not all together, you have to walk to them, and some of them are a distance away. We saw how cool, like one of my favorite embassies that I saw from the outside was the Luxembourg embassy. They had so many cool things to give out to people, and this was all free. So as we were walking through Dupont Circle, we also found the Slovenian embassy, and then from there we decided to go towards the Danish embassy. And the walk to the Danish embassy was actually pretty long, and then on our way there we actually found these 2 dudes who were dressed as Vikings with the Danish flag. This is like the quicker way if you want to get the Danish experience, which was like super cute and just like so random, but I understand where they're coming from because like those lines were no joke, like actually. And the hike to get to the Danish embassy, it was a hike. Yeah, and then on our way to the Danish embassy, we saw a line for the Italian embassy, which was so long too, but people of all walks of life were there, all ages. And you know, thankfully on this walk, in comparison to others, there were trees. And when we finally arrived to the Danish embassy, I was so tired. I was so thirsty and tired. And I saw the trees, the glorious trees, the glorious trees. It was so much shade, so much beautiful shade going into the embassy. And this embassy was like more poppin' than I thought. And it was more spacious than I thought too. Like honestly, I can't compare it to all the other embassies because we didn't get to see all of them, but you can see that the Danish embassy knew what they were doing. They had games for all ages, all types. They had a food area. They had an area if you want to like take pictures with like some props. They had a specific line if you wanted to go into the Danish residence and learn more about Danish history, and like actually go into like the architecture of the building, which the building low-key I really wanted to go into, and I wanted to get some food in the food line because they had good food. But we decided, all right, let's see if we can stay in line for the food first, and then from there we go and see if we can go into like the building itself, because the building looked really cool, like Scandinavian design. If you know, you know. But the line was so long for both, but we ended up getting out of the food line because we were getting really hungry. And so my friend actually found a trail right outside of the Danish embassy that connected us from the Danish embassy to Georgetown. But the thing is, this trail was like we were entering the world of The Hobbit. This trail was giving, you know, going back into medieval times. Like it was giving, we're going into a new dimension. And we did not expect this, but we both took out our phones and we were just like, this is wild. And I was telling him, I was like, listen, I'm following you. I'm trusting you because like this is wild, like actually wild. But yeah, and then we saw people, there was like a group of 2 women behind us too that were trying to do the same thing we were doing. And then we just saw people just like going throughout the trail that were actually used to the trail. Like, and then there was like a dog off leash that was just like, you know, one of the comfortable off leash dogs that don't act crazy. And it was just chilling, and then just like walked by us, like doing what it do. And at one moment we realized, oh shit, we are kind of lost. We were lost in the woods, and we had to redirect ourselves. And yeah, it was a time. There was a spot on the ground, I remember my friend was like, oh no, there's mud. He was like, be careful. And I was like, oh my God. I feel like there was an episode of That's So Raven, and I was being reminded of it, where like they fell in mud or something. Specifically, I don't know why, but I got this like feeling, this memory of seeing Raven and Chelsea after they fell in mud. And I was like, I really hope we don't do this, because like I'm wearing white. I'm not trying to slip and fall into mud. And the mud was thick. It was thick because like the trees shaded things. Yeah, but we made it out. And one thing that I really love about this portion of our day, it was unexpected, of course, but it was so beautiful. And I gotta say, before we even stepped into this area, I was starting to get panicky, like anxiety-ish, because I was so uncomfortable, because I was hungry, because I was thirsty, and I was getting overheated, and I needed something. But the moment that we stepped in to this natural, beautiful environment that was not only beautiful and just like literally awe-inspiring, it was cool. It was serene. It was peaceful. And once again, it was like you were stepping into another world. I know I was making fun of it earlier, but it was literally like you were stepping into another world, even though this was still DC. And anyway, we found our way out, and so did the people in the woods that were in front of us. Apparently, they had gotten to the point where we were behind them because we had gotten lost twice. And then at the end of it, at the end of the trail, we were in Georgetown officially. And I gotta say, I love Georgetown, but I never realized how similar it felt to some places that I went to in the UK. And specifically this part of Georgetown felt like I was back in the UK, and I was like, no way, dude, like no way. It was like mixing Bath and Bristol together with like a hint of London. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, we were just walking around Georgetown, and we were just trying to figure out what we're gonna eat. And this is the point that I actually realized we were on the street that I saw in a vlog that I saw this morning. And by this morning, I meant the morning of this event actually happening. I saw a Georgetown vlog, and I realized, oh, I'm on the same street as this woman. And I'm realizing, oh wow, we're literally going in the same direction. And I was like, damn. And I realized, you know, I can really just make this a vlog about me going throughout DC, not just about EU Day, but about what it's like to feel like you're in the streets of DC. But yeah, at this point, my friend and I, we were just walking down this street and trying to figure out what we were gonna eat. And yeah, another one of my favorite things about older types of cities like this is the cute architecture, the colonial architecture, the buildings that have been here for decades. After after that, we actually kept walking and we found this boba place because I was telling my friend I was craving like something with lime or like fresh. After we ordered our drinks, we realized, oh, there's like another part to this place, and oh my god, it's like going downstairs and like, whoa, the vibe is like different. And it was so cool. We found like a bar, we found like different games and puzzles and stuff. It was a vibe. It was definitely a vibe. And then our order was ready. I got this really refreshing citrusy jasmine drink with lychee jelly at the bottom. It made me so happy. And then I walked into Shop Made in DC here in Georgetown, and I walked around and found a bunch of great things like these beautiful art and print pieces. And I decided just to go ahead and show you guys what Shop Made In actually has. They have a variety of different things, and as you can see, they put them on display along with a little info card for the maker behind the brand that they're representing. So they have cards, they have chocolates, they have snacks, pens, cutting boards, bags, everything that you can think of, they have it there. And these are all locally made, locally founded brands that the Shop Made in DC, Virginia, and Maryland brand, they put into their store to help get these people out there. I also got my mom a Mother's Day gift because it was the day before Mother's Day, and I got her a little gift from the store. Got myself something, a little something, then decided to go to a park that I saw in that blog I mentioned earlier. And on my way to the park, I found these awesome, beautiful little snippets of time, these moments of finding these really cute stores, these cute boutiques, taking in the flowers, the greenery, you know. And it was just a really nice, calming walk. I really love this sort of mix of antique style with modern, contemporary, everyday city stuff. I'm realizing that that is actually more of my style. I like to mix things from the past in with modern. And it was really nice walking past these shops, like these interior design shops as well, and just taking it all in, getting inspired and dreaming up my next place where I want to live and how I want to decorate. And then I found myself at the park I was excited to be at. I was excited to see Book Hill Park, and when I got up the stairs, because honey, there are stairs, I found this beautiful little bunny. And another thing about me, my zodiac is the bunny. My Chinese zodiac is the bunny, the rabbit. And when I saw it, I was just like, oh. And my friends used to call me Alia Bunny back in high school too, so it just felt perfect. Anyway, after that, I was on my way out of Georgetown, going back into Northern Virginia, and you can see here a little bit of the Potomac as we're getting out of Georgetown and entering Rosslyn, Virginia. I love Rosslyn, and honestly, it's changing every day. And here's the next day, spending time with my mom on Mother's Day. We took some time to go to the docks of Old Town Alexandria, and we decided to come here because it was quiet and we both needed some time to just be in nature, to be by the water. And you can see here, we got in a conversation about what is the National Harbor and what is the MGM Grand. And both the MGM Grand and the National Harbor are, you know, in Maryland. So from this area, you can see Maryland, Virginia, and you can see DC off in the distance as well. And the thing is about this area that we're sitting at, it's gonna be closed. We're pretty sure this area is gonna be closed down for 2 years because they're gonna be doing construction on this side of the river. Because actually, if you know Alexandria City, it floods badly. To be here and withstand our changing weather, you know, for longer. And also you can see the planes taking off and landing at Reagan National Airport. And one of my favorite things to do in this area of like Arlington, DC, Alexandria, specifically Alexandria and Arlington, is to watch the planes, you know, land, take off. And there's actually a lot of nice places, nice parks that you can just like sit and watch the planes take off, or just watch the boats on the water. And yeah, that is that weekend. And wrapping it up, it was such a beautiful weekend, spending time with awesome people and making new memories, and also coming to realize that you really don't have to travel too far to find new beauty in the place that you call home. Because I'm from the DMV, I live in the DMV, and I feel like a lot of us, we tend to take for granted what is around us on the everyday, especially when we live in a city that is always changing. But whether we live in a city dynamic that is always changing, or if we live in a more rural part, similar to actually where I grew up in Southern Maryland, you can always find something new just around the corner if you just keep your eyes open. You can always find something new to admire. And this is something that I do want to bring up as I'll be traveling more, and I want to give some advice to people who want to travel too, but they want to do it in the way of escaping their problems here. It's kind of similar to some advice that you hear about, don't start dating until you find love within yourself first. So I would recommend people not to travel internationally and, you know, expect things to be so amazing, so different over in these places, and then come back home and be like, oh my God, I hate this area. It just doesn't work for me anymore. I feel like I can speak to this a little bit differently, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. You have to find joy in where you are before you seek new adventures. And, you know, sometimes when you do get things that you wanted, or you do get things that you were seeking, and when you finally get a hold of them, you realize, oh, this wasn't what I wanted, you know? Anyway, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that is all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this little vlog, this little chat, as I went ahead and experienced both DC and Northern Virginia with you guys. Overall, I hope you found some joy watching this vlog, and I hope you can see at least an ounce of the beauty that DC has to offer. We're so much more than the Beltway, than politics, than gridlock. DC is home. DC is culture. DC is diverse. You know, we're the home of Go-Go. We're the home of Chuck Brown. We're the home of sanctuary cities. And we have so much to offer. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's vlog, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, peace.